What are you doing, Salam? Shouted Moji to her brother, who was racing through space. I'm looking for the moon, Moji. I want to be the first one to know when Eid is, said Salam jubilantly. Moji shrugged her shoulders and replied, You can't look for the moon in space. You have to look for it on Earth.
Moji steered the spaceship back to Earth and landed in her back garden. She then took Salam back into the house and showed him a video on the ZT Media YouTube page. Look, Salam, this video will explain how to look for the moon. Salam was tired from his journey. He yawned and replied, It seems too long, Moji, and I was enjoying myself in space. Moji smiled, patted her brother on the back and replied, Don't worry, Salam. Watch this video and you will find lots of fun ways to look for the moon.
The Islamic calendar is based on the lunar cycle. The period in which the moon orbits around the earth once forms one lunar month. During its orbit, the moon reflects the light of the sun and based on its position exhibits different shapes. So it appears as a crescent in the beginning of the month, then becomes a full moon during the middle of the month, and then appears once again as a crescent. Finally, it disappears completely in the shadow of the earth. This stage is called al-muhaq in Arabic or wane in English. Once the moon is out of this stage, the sunlight shines on it and it appears as a very fine crescent, which marks the beginning of a new lunar month.
Salam was a bit confused after watching the video. He looked up and asked his older sister, Moji, none of this tells me if the moon is there or not. I want to find the moon. Moji reassured her brother and said, There's not only one way to find the moon. So to help keep it simple, let me show you what Ayatollah Sistani has said about the rulings of finding the moon.
That the beginning of the month is proved by sighting the moon with the naked eye. You are allowed to use magnifying devices to determine the position of the crescent, but you have to see it with the naked eye. Keep in mind that sighting the moon only using magnifying devices will not prove the beginning of the month. Secondly, is to become assured about the possibility of seeing the moon with the naked eye, meaning that it is confirmed with convincing and undeniable evidence that the moon exists and that seeing it with the naked eye is possible. However, it has been covered with clouds or dust, for example. Keep in mind that this evidence must be convincing to the astronomers, scientists, and the experts. Thirdly, is by proving the new moon in other regions. This method requires some geographical and astronomical conditions between the two regions, and they should be united or very close in their horizons. Understand that this requires special technical knowledge, and therefore one should refer to experts and specialists. As an example, it's mentioned that if the new moon is proved in Najaf, this normally means it's proved for Bahrain, but having it proved in Bahrain does not necessarily mean it is proved in Najaf. The fourth way of proving the month is through widespread news of proving that the month has begun, which gives one certainty. So for example, if a large number of people say that the month has been proved and the follower is sure of what they say and the proving method goes in accordance with his jurist, then the month is proved for him too. The fifth way is by legitimate affirmation. This means that one takes the testimony of two just men that the month is proved according to the principles of one's jurist. And lastly, if the beginning of the month has not been proved with any of the previous ways, then by the passing of 30 days, the current month ends and the new month begins.
You know what I realized, Moji, said Salam. If I find the moon, that means it's Eid. So I better start looking for all my gifts. I might pack one for you too.